Hello everyone, today I'm going to do a review of the iPhone SE 2020 version. This review will be for year 2022 because some people are still thinking about buying this phone, and honestly I want to tell you my honest opinion if it's worth buying it. Now let's start off with the price. That's, I believe, most important part. Now Apple still has this phone listed for $400 for unlocked version. I definitely don't recommend it because when it did come out in 2022, it was $400. So they didn't lower any price on that. But what I do recommend is buying this phone on a prepaid company. For example, I got this phone on Cricket. It was free with if I had to prepay 3 months of the unlimited service, which cost $380. So once I prepaid that, I was able to convert that 3 months into 6 months, which is their unlocking policy. So after 6 months, I got this phone unlocked. So now I can switch company or I can sell the phone and get a different one and so on and so on. Also, you can buy this phone on prepaid companies like Total Wireless, Straight Talk, and so on and so on. And also they have a new policy where they will unlock this phone after 2 months of service, which is quite amazing because I see this phone often for $200 new or 100, even under $100 for used. Used version pretty much comes new, so after 2 months you can unlock it. So you can have an iPhone SE for under $150 used or around $200 brand new. Now let's go over the outside of the phone first. We have 4.7-inch screen. It weighs 5.22 ounces, so it does have some weight to it. It's mostly due to the glass back that it has. Now, I definitely recommend buying a case for it because if you do drop it without the case, it will most likely shatter the back. Probably not the front, but maybe even the front. But the back is glass, so that will shatter first. Now, on the bottom of the phone, we have the Lightning charging port. We have stereo speakers. We also have a microphone. There's no 3.5mm headphone jack, which was still kind of disappointing because I still use wired headphones. On the right side, we have the SIM card slot, and we also have a power button. And on top, we don't have anything, but that's where the other speaker is located at, right here. We also have that 7-megapixel camera. And on the left side, we have the silent button, and we have the volume rockers, and that's it. And as I mentioned, we have the glass back, and we also have a camera with the flash. And on the front of the phone, we have the Touch ID, which is quite nice to have, especially if you coming off, for example, iPhone 10, 11, and so on and so on. They don't have Touch ID, but I still love Touch ID, and I think it's quite amazing to have in the phone, especially with this whole COVID. And I was using 10R the other day, and I had to pull down my mask every single time, or I had to enter the PIN, which was kind of frustrating because with this phone, all you have to do is just press the button, and it just works. It works perfect. So that's the best. Honestly, I still believe that's the best thing about this phone. Now the screen is 4.7-inch. As I mentioned, it is a Retina display. It has a 1334 x 750 pixel resolution, 326 pi. It does have a True Tone display, has wide color display, haptic touch, and it has 625 max brightness, which is quite nice. It does get pretty bright. During the day, I keep it around at the lower setting, maybe even lower to conserve some battery. And honestly, I don't like my phone when it's too bright. I do prefer it when it's on the lower brightness setting. But for the sake of video, I'm gonna bump it up. Now inside the phone, we have the A13 Bionic chip. We have 6-core CPU, 4-core GPU, and an 8-core neural engine. It has the same CPU as iPhone 11. And even in 2022, this CPU is just blazing fast. I played a lot of games. As I mentioned, I used this phone 1 year non-stop. This is the phone I use for recording my videos. I even did some editing on it when my iMac died. So it did everything that I needed to do. Now, the only issue with the phone is that small screen. Now, as I mentioned, 4.7-inch screen, it's so small. It's very hard to even find phones this size anymore, even the budget Androids or any phones. Most of them are over 5.5 inches, and big bunch of them are over 6 inches, which is huge. Now this phone, it does look much bigger because of that big bezels on top and bottom of that Touch ID, but overall it fits in my hand. Probably, honestly, this is probably the best phone I used, just for its pure size. I think it fits in my hand perfectly. I can reach the top, I can reach, the bottom, I can swipe, no problem with just one hand. And it also fits in my pocket just nicely. I go hiking and I go running a lot, and I still use this phone. And it's just so nice when you can just click on this Touch ID, open it up, and just use it with one hand. I don't have to do two-hand action and so on and so on. I can type with one hand, and it's just perfect size. Now, when it comes to software, this iPhone still receives all the software updates. Right now, it's on 15.3.1. That's the latest version. And honestly, I believe this phone will be supported till 2024, so keep that in mind. Even after it stops getting the latest updates, you can still use it. For example, I had an old iMac that was probably 3 software updates behind and still work great. Unfortunately, I had some GPU problems and then it just died on me. But even after the updates, as I mentioned, you can still use the iPhone and it will still work great. You just won't be on the latest software update. Now this phone only has 3 gigabytes of RAM, which is quite enough. With that 813 Bionic, it's still blazing fast. I did play quite a lot of games. I used that, as I mentioned, for a year. So I played, 8 games from Call of Duty and so on and so on, and it handled it perfectly, and it didn't get like extremely hot like some Android phones that I use, budget Android phones, which will get like really, really hot in hand. Now let's talk about the cameras. Now, if you watch any of my videos, this is the phone I use for all the recording. Now on the back we have that 12 megapixel wide camera with 1.8 aperture, digital zoom up to 5x. We have the portrait mode, we have portrait lighting, 6 element lens, and so on and so on. And we do have that flash. Now, when it comes to taking pictures, it takes really beautiful pictures, even though it's a single camera. But quality is just there. Phone will beat any budget phone, camera wise, and it will take better pictures, better videos. You can even do 4K, 60 frames per second with this phone, which is amazing. Now on the front we have that 7 megapixel selfie, which takes decent pictures. It's nothing extraordinary. Now when it comes to sound, it does have stereo speakers, so let me play you guys something. Now let's talk about the battery. When I did receive this phone brand new, the battery life was horrible. Like honestly, I had to charge it twice, maybe 3 times. After a few updates and after using the phone more often, I noticed the battery life was getting better and better. Now screen time, I'm getting almost 6 hours, which is pretty damn amazing. Screen off, 27 minutes. I do use this phone a lot, mostly for Facebook and I talk to my friends on Messenger, I talk to my family on Messenger and Facebook. And last 10 days, the screen time is over 6 hours, which is pretty good. Now, when it comes to charging, they don't include the brick. So let me show you guys what came in the box. Inside the box, we have the charging cable, which would be USB-C to Lightning port. So they do make you get USB-C charging brick. And if you use one of the older phones like iPhone 8, which comes with the, I don't think that one even comes with a charging brick. So it's unfortunate they did stop including the brick. When I first had my first iPhone SE 2020 version, I remember I purchased that from, I believe it was it Cricket? Maybe it was Cricket, but the box was bigger and it actually came with the charging brick, it came with the headphones, with the cable, and I guess they redesigned the whole box and everything, so now they just include the cable and some paperwork, and inside you have the SIM injector pin. Now, when it comes to gaming, I played a lot of different games. I deleted some games, but for this video, I chose to show you guys 2 games. And I did play Call of Duty Warzone. I played multiplayer. I played Battle Royale, and it played great, no issues. The only issue, I guess, it's that small screen. but you know, holding it in your hands, it just works great. So let me show you guys a couple games that I played. So this game is really fun, but it gets kind of hard. And there we go. Now this is where the small screen comes into play. It's very hard to press these little buttons because the screen is so small. So here we go. And this is how it looks in the full screen. So it still looks great if you want to use it for watching YouTube or Facebook videos. There's no cutoff line, so you do get that full screen. This is just me playing Fortnite. I was explaining how to play Fortnite on Chromebook, and there we go. Now the big question is, should you buy this phone in 2022? This will strongly depend on the price you're paying. Now at $400 that Apple is still selling this phone, I would say no, don't buy. Just wait, just wait for the new version iPhone SE. I believe it will drop this year and probably in a couple months. And that phone will be probably around $400 to $500, and it will have the newest CPU and probably will look the same, but it would just be much refreshed. So you definitely want to pay $400 for a phone that's been $400 2 years ago. Now, if you can buy this phone for around $200, I definitely recommend it. There is no other budget phone that will do the same amount and give you the same quality as this phone. So that's my review. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you for watching.